Hi there, I'm Foxheim and welcome back to another video. Today I'll be opening the Scrawlr box from February 2021. I know it's so long ago. I actually opened it back then, but the supplies just really confused me and I didn't know what to do with it. So I decided that I needed some time to get better at traditional art, I guess. I feel like I now have the confidence to actually try to figure it out. And I guess that's what Scrawlr boxes are for, to challenge you, teach about new mediums, and yeah, have fun. What I don't understand here is it just doesn't fit. Could you not make something that fits? Why the whole take it apart and there's such little space left? It's small already. Just make it a little smaller. That's my opinion anyway. So I already had one of these small water brushes from Wish, I think it was. They are very similar. As you can see, they're the same size, they hold the same amount of water, only the cap's a little different. They look very similar, but as you can see, the Wish one is very flexible, whilst the Derwent one is kind of harder, not as flexible. So that's the only difference I can tell, at least. This little thing came with it and it's see-through, so I put it on top of the white paper, but it doesn't really correspond to the colors all that much when you put it on the paper that they gave you in the box. But yeah, it's still cool. It's a cute thing. So between the reef, I feel, I don't know, I just think fish or mermaid, I guess. So I read up on some fishes and apparently there was this new kind of fish. It's a wrasse or a wrasse, and they discovered a new type of wrasse, which is rainbow colored in some deep reef somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but it looked really cool. So I decided to draw that because there was the colors, the pastel colors, they were so rainbowy. Well, not rainbows, but it's hard to say colorful because they're pastels, so they're not really vibrant, but they're still colorful, right? In my sketchbook, the colors actually looked really good. It took a while to dry, but they dried really good, and I can tell they feel a little chalky, but not chalk in a bad way, if you know what I mean. Because of that, they dried a whole lot lighter than when you put it down when it's still wet. However, I noticed on the paper that I gave you in the box, the watercolor paper, when it dries, it gives you this really weird texture. Like you colored the ridges, the top ridges of the paper with some colored pencil. It's a really weird effect that I didn't get in my sketchbook. And I kind of hate it. It was just really a vibe killer, if you ask me. It did show more when I had a lot more pigment, so I guess I'm not supposed to use a lot of pigment. I don't know, but they're so pastel, you have to build up values in some way. So I didn't use any other supplies than what was in the box color-wise, so it was really hard to build up value. I did as much as I could. I tried to play more with vibrancy and did the best that I could. But the texture was always there. I think maybe a different kind of paper would have been better. I didn't test the different kind of paper apart from the sketchbook, but because I wanted to use the stuff that was in the box, what was intended. Another thing that I noticed that was terribly annoying was that the white jelly roll that they added in the box, it didn't draw on top of those colors almost at all. It was just barely visible, and it was just scratching the paint off the paper, especially on the watercolor paper. And of course, especially when there's more pigment, because it's such a chalky pigment. I feel like whenever they put one of those white jelly rolls in the box, it never works the way it's supposed to. Am I doing it wrong? Maybe. But I don't know how I'm doing it wrong. How can you do it wrong? You just put it on the paper. So I did not use that. I just replaced it with a white Posca, which worked a whole lot better. Honestly, the best thing would probably be a white paint of some sort, maybe gouache. So for the first image, I decided to do a light wash for the background, kind of like it's underwater. Gave it a little bit of a misty feel. I don't know what to say. Really just utilizing the cooler colors for the water, the bluish colors, and just a tidbit of warmth. And then I used a lot more vibrant colors for the fish. Try using a colored pencil for the line work. It did work. very well in the sketchbook, but for the color, the watercolor paper didn't really work it that well. So later on, I find a fine liner pen from Panduro actually, with a darker bluish color, which worked really good. It still brought scraped off some of the pigment, but not nearly as much as the Jelly Roll, for example. Doing my best here to make the fish stand out from the background and the reef or seaweed. I took some inspiration from the cover art from the scene. As you can see the jellyfish there, that it has the tentacles, the curly tentacles. I tried to copy that, but as you can see, the colors dry a lot lighter than when you put it on. How on earth did they make that picture on the zine with this palette. It's just impossible unless they enhanced it digitally. At least not on this paper. I don't know, maybe there's some paper out there that makes them a whole lot more saturated. Which would be weird, because you want them to be pastel, right? Don't get me wrong though, the image on the zine is beautiful. I love it. That's why I took inspiration from it. But it didn't really work out on my picture because it dried up really light. For this next one, I did a light wash on the background. I decided to use one of my sketches where the fish is kind of on land, creating sea from land. I have no idea why I taped it down this way, because it was supposed to be a horizontal image, not a vertical image. I don't know what I was thinking. It kind of made it hard for me to draw the fish. The trees and all that went fine, but... So I tried to use the grayish, darker colors for the tree side, because it's supposed to be drab. And then all the colors for the sea side. It didn't really turn out the way I wanted it to. I liked the idea, though. I liked the concept, but I just wasn't able to execute it as well as I wanted it to, especially since I taped it down this way. So I decided to do one last one just to really get everything out of my system for this palette. I decided to give this palette away to a friend when I was done with it. So I had to clean it up and all that. I actually put out a short where I clean it, if you want to check that out. So I didn't want to put it in the video because the video was so long. So I really liked the effect this gave with all the colors and stuff, but it was just way too much. So I did it a little differently on the actual piece. I really like how the skin tone turned out with these colors, but then again, you can do several types of skin colors with this. You can only get this light skin tone, so it's not really versatile in that way. So it's not really made to draw or paint humans. I'm a little sad because it kind of looks too much like Medusa right now. Actually, it never stops looking like Medusa, only you don't see the end of the snakes. I just want to make it very clear that it's supposed to be seaweed. That's why I put like little shines in it when I'm done to make it look like shiny seaweed. But that just makes it look even more like snakes because they are shiny. You know, I tried. It looks fine. It's really not my medium. That's why I gave it away. I would rather have someone else enjoy it than it's just lying on my shelf for years. The one I gave it to, she's just such a pastel gal. She loves pastel colors. She's always painted with pastel colors. She's probably watching the video right now. She knows I'm talking about her. Hi, by the way. I can't wait to see what she makes with it because she's so much better with them colors than I do be. Another reason it kind of looks like Medusa is 'cause I chose to do the roots in this blue, this greenish color, and then make it go into blues and then gradient into the purples, into the warmer colors, so that you have the warm skin tone, right? And then you have the cooler tones around her face, framing it, and then you go back to the warmer tones at the edges, kind of framing the whole thing in. That was my plan anyway. And then I did these splotches to kind of emulate bubbles. I don't know if it reads though. And of course I had to add some fishies. Cause I don't know, it feels like it's like a theme at this point. At this point, I'm kind of struggling because everything just looks the same value at this point. It's like, it looks really good when I put it on and then it dries and it's just so light. I just struggle to embrace these pastels. They would be great with, if you had a different type of palette with a little more vibrant colors, or at least a bit more variety and value, that would probably be really nice. And yeah. So don't get me wrong, I really like this palette. It's interesting. I've never seen anything like it before. It's confusing. It's wonderful. It's colorful. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it if you like these types of colors, and maybe if you have something to complement it in terms of value. So here we are. I'm giving up on the whole trying to make deeper, darker hues. It's impossible. This is as good as it's gonna get. I obviously don't want to put any line art on this, or any type of black line art is gonna completely ravage this piece. So this is as far as I'm gonna go with this. I am happy with it, sort of. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry that it's a really old Scrawlr box. I've been working on it for a while, I guess. As I've mentioned earlier, I do these boxes kind of out of order because, you know, you have to do what inspires you. So long. Thanks for watching.